everyone back to yet another episode of The Big Hit.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, everyone, to The Big Hit.
Welcome to today's episode of The Big Hit. I'm Katie Dotz.
Sports Jeopardy. I'm assuming everyone already knows how to play Jeopardy,
and welcome to The Big Hit's 2019 edition of Scrap for Your City.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another fantastic season of The Big Hit. I'll be your host tonight, Jake Spangle. Joining me is Joey Chrisman, Jake Taylor, Ian Decker, and Tristan Borland. So we're just basically, it's going to be a big NFL segment. We're going to review the Super Bowl and go looking to the future. I mean, we've got a couple months till then, but hey, let's just start talking now. There's a lot that's going to happen in the next couple months, and we're going to start with the Super Bowl review. Kansas City obviously beat the 49ers 31-20. Much better than last year's Super Bowl, I can say that much, especially the halftime show. Throw it out there. Yeah. But anyway, besides that, let's just get everyone's opinion. How does everyone, what was their take on it? Any bad calls, anything you're like, oh, that's ridiculous? Just in general, we'll start with Joey.
Honestly, that game played out exactly how I thought it was going to. You know, with the Chiefs coming back after the half, just like the past two playoff games. You know, coming back from 20-30, and then coming back and winning that game exactly how I thought. Although that call on offensive pass interference on Kittle before the half, it was a sketchy call. But I don't think that was a big factor in the game. I think one of the big factors was the fact that Shanahan did not call timeout before the half. But like I said, Chiefs won. Patrick Mahomes is an absolute beast. I didn't think anything of that. So, like I said, it's exactly how I thought it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, year after year, you look at it. You know, I might not have a job saying this because, you know, my shtick is hot take, Jake. But, you know, it's always chalk. It's chalk every single year. And going into here, I mean, 49ers, I mean, that was a big surprise, but they were the number one seed in the NFC. So if you were picking teams, you're like, all right, they're gonna end up in the Super Bowl. Looking at Kansas City, that was probably everybody's preseason favorite other than the Patriots to go and win the Super Bowl. So best quarterback and best coach always win year after year, unless it is Nick Foles who decides to put together the best three games of any quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl era. Best quarterback and best coach wins, and that is clearly what happened when you see Andy Reid and you see Pat Mahomes on the field. You have Pat Mahomes; he's going to win you the game. He's like even the game when they went down 24-0. It's undoubted. I had unwavering confidence that they were going to come back and win that game. One, because the Texans suck. Two, I mean, Pat Mahomes can just do it. That's just what he does. And Kyle Shanahan, you're a good coach up until you coach in the Super Bowl. Like, geez Louise, what is with that? Blowing the two biggest fourth quarter leads in Super Bowl history. In case you guys were curious, he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons when they blew the 28-3 lead against the New England Patriots. And now he blew the 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. He got outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the biggest takeaway for me for this game wouldn't be, I wanted to see somebody win the Super Bowl. Like last year, it was like, oh my, like, it was just like, the Los Angeles Rams lost the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They did not play well. Like, Goff played like crap. You know, they weren't looking like they were supposed to. And I think it happened again this year that San Francisco, they lost. They lost the Super Bowl. Kansas City didn't really win. You know, all they had to do was Pat Mahomes had one of his worst games of his career. You know, at that point, you're supposed to be kind of pouncing on that opportunity. Like, wow, worst game. Let's go. Let's score some points. Let's win this game. Nah, Shanahan, you did it again. You soiled it. You ruined it.
Up to me now. So I was rooting for Kansas City because I figured that Andy Reid deserved to finally get his Super Bowl trophy. And now he's definitely going to go to Canton, definitely going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Was it most winningest coach in the playoffs? Isn't that Andy Reid or is that Bill Belichick?
That's Belichick.
That's still Belichick.
That's still Belichick, but
like top five in that
easily.
category.
And that's why I said he just, year after year, he's put his heart into it. First it was with the Eagles, now with the Chiefs. He got what he deserved.
Frankly, I had all my money on the 49ers. Can't stand Andy Reid. Went for the Eagles. Giants fan. NFC's blood. That's all I am, man. But it was a pretty good Super Bowl going off, and a lot more competitive than it was last year. That just slugfest. I guess you can call it good defense, but you know, it got boring. But first drive for the 49ers was really surprising for me. All those trick plays that are going out, all the misdirections, very exciting. Yeah. I don't know if you guys thought it was the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, then after, you know, going to the second quarter, it started slowing down a bit for me. But then once it got to the third, towards the end of the third, when Jimmy Garoppolo started slinging it, Debo, was it Debo?
Yeah, Debo.
Debo, yeah, started going at it. It was starting to get good, but after it was at 24-20 after Mahomes scored.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, 24-20 and was at the fourth. Yeah, I just knew. I was Made a bad bet, man. Can't really count out Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They're just too good. You know, best quarterback and coach combo, I'm in my opinion, in the entire league. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And it's actually Andy Reid's second Super Bowl. He won his first one as an assistant, but this is his first one.
First authentic.
Yeah, first authentic.
Yeah,
So that's a good word.
and so he has the record. He's like the longest time being a coach without before winning their first like official Super Bowl. And it's like 22 years. And I'm like, yikes, that's such a long time. But moving forward, I mean.
Oh, I don't know. I want to keep going. I kind of want to rip Shanahan a little bit here more.
All right, let me hear it.
I'm not going to lie to you. All right, well, Kyle Shanahan, I don't understand this. You absolutely rout Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship. Jimmy Garoppolo throws the ball 8 times. You need to win the game with the quarterback throwing 8 times. That is fantastic. So what do? You make him throw the ball in the Super Bowl 31 times. You were up until you were leading until the fourth quarter. Your last 3 drives lasted an average of 51 seconds. Jeez Louise. You know what? My little cousin, 11 years old, can manage a clock better than Madden. Oh my God, Kyle Shanahan, what are you doing? I don't understand. I just don't understand how you can finally get to the big game. You're coaching a great season. You're a great coach. Everybody's riding high on you. And what do? You waste everybody's money. Everyone's betting on you. You see, Ian's pissed. Way to go, Shanahan.
I'm upset.
Way to go, Shanahan.
Oh, I love it. Anything else? Anyone else want to rip on Kyle Shanahan?
I'll keep ripping. I'll rip on Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman too. You know, he got burned by Devontae Adams going on the inside. Look at Sammy Watkins, lit him up that way. Richard Sherman, you know what? I liked you. I was on your side. No, you were talking. Everyone's, oh, I'm the best quarterback. Blah blah blah. Look at my numbers. Well, look at your numbers now, buddy. You lost 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. You got burnt.
The one thing I do want to add, thank God Nick Bosa is not meeting Trump. We avoided that just disaster train. Screw Nick Bosa, and screw Trump as well. Yeah, say it.
We can get political.
Fair enough.
I was going to say, how in the world, everybody praised Shanahan for using his running back by committee. He has 3 of easily the most talented running backs in the NFL. And like they were saying, why would he pass it? Why? Jimmy Garoppolo is not it. He's a system quarterback at best. He is not a quarterback that you exactly expect to win you Super Bowls. Why would you make him be the center of it? That's why they let Patrick Mahomes become the center of it, because he was that offense, because he was Patrick Mahomes, and Garoppolo's not. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
He's middle of the road.
Yeah, he's middle of the road. He's not bad. He's definitely not bad.
He's better than probably at least 10, maybe half of the league, but like he's right at that middle point of like, hey. It's like I would imagine he's about the same as when Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl.
He's a gatekeeper
he
for
did good,
quarterbacks.
but he wasn't like.
He's not winning MVP. He's not winning MVP.
Yes. So, however, I want to you think Mahomes deserved MVP? I don't know. Demi Williams rushed for 104 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Mahomes had 2 interceptions, 2 bad turnovers. I mean, he was missing easy passes that he should have made there earlier in the game. I mean, obviously, come back.
I mean, it usually always goes to the quarterback, and that's
what
I hate it. But I agreed. We all said I was like, because me and Joey were at the same watch party, and we were like, oh yeah. It should be Damian Williams, and then after I was like, oh, it's not. Nah, I'm not surprised.
Well, that Ravens Super Bowl, didn't Ray Lewis win MVP?
No, it was Flacco.
It was Flacco?
They gave it to Flacco.
Yeah, but
I thought Jacoby Jones should have won it that year.
Yeah.
But
no, he should have. That was ridiculous.
Anybody other than Flacco.
Yeah, but hey, well, you know what? Flacco's was on the,
hindsight is 20/20.
maybe better things. Who knows? I don't think who's to say. But I mean,
behind Drew Lock.
With all this talk about Kansas City. And with Tom Brady potential, he's probably going to leave New England, who's to say doing this or whatever. And Kansas City looks to be the next best head coach and quarterback combination. And just with the way things go on, they have their first Super Bowl. Do they look to be the next dynasty to beat in the NFL?
I was going to say yes, but I was hoping that Andy Reid would retire after this Super Bowl. I don't know if he is. I was hoping he would. I would hope that he would take the Peyton Manning approach whenever he won Super Bowl 50 and he rode off into the sunset, at his peak, at the best that he could possibly be. And I would hope that Andy Reid would follow suit. Hey, I just won the Super Bowl. I'm going to go out being known as the head coach that won Super Bowl 54. 54. Roman numerals always get me.
It's all good.
But I thought that he would go out on top. But from what it sounds like, maybe he won't.
Yeah, no way. Well, you got Pat Mahomes here without even before his rookie contract's even over. If I'm Andy Reid, most coaches coach until they're 75 or they're really old, which is kind of surprising how much they can keep up down there. I mean, Pete Carroll's a little bit different of a guy. Yeah. The oldest coach in the NFL, Pete Carroll is, compared to Andy Reid. If you're just looking at, I would say health-wise, but I wouldn't really know their health. But I'm thinking,
You can make
it's a little bit more sustainable for Pete Carroll, but that's regardless. I think that could they be the next dynasty? Yeah, I mean, I think they'd have to get that defense up. The defense got hot at a good time, but I don't know what Mahomes is going. Mahomes is going to have to take a pay cut. Is what's going to have to happen because if you want to pay this man $40 million on average a year, you're not going to win the. You're not going to consistently win the Super Bowl. Like you're not going to be able to pay Chris Jones. You're not going to be able to pay Matthew. You're not going to be able to pay Tyreek Hill. I mean, you can't get Damian Williams is going to want some money. Probably going to get it more from a different team if he keeps performing like he did then. Travis Kelce's going to get a huge contract. I mean, you got to have to start paying these guys. And if you're paying Mahomes $40 million a year, that never happened in the NFL. It's like, well, what do you like? It's impossible to even judge because it's never happened before.
Yeah, I honestly think it's way too early to think about Kansas City being the next dynasty because they've only won one Super Bowl. Most dynasties have won 3 to 4. I think if they come back next year to make the playoffs and possibly Super Bowl, I think they will be the next dynasty. But then again, with Patrick Mahomes, being himself, and then Andy Reid possibly retiring, but probably not because if I were him, I'd want to go back to the White House buffet too. I mean,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it all depends what you mean by dynasty. Are they going to be the next New England Patriots? Probably not.
No, they're not
Another
gonna cheat. They're not gonna cheat all the
not
time.
going to be
Yeah.
that many wins. But out of the next couple of years, I can see them winning another Super Bowl, maybe two.
Yeah.
Maybe two's pushing it. They're going to win, division championships. They're going to make it far in the playoffs. But they have the lowest salary cap, like the lowest salary expenditures for a team in the NFL.
I'm not sure. But,
Yeah, they have they spent the lowest out of every other team, and they have a good, very, very good young core. Everybody's for the most part on their offense under 30. Like they're still in their athletic prime. I still think they have a very, very good chance to at least win at least one more. As long as no player gets greedy with their money, and they make a few good signings. Don't change it too much with their depth chart, but they still have a good chance.
Yeah, I agree. It could look like the Steelers in years past. I mean, the Steelers went to 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year span. Something like that. Russell Wilson. It's like with Russell Wilson. I think Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson. It's like not only are they dynasties, more or less. It's like you're gonna think they're gonna win every game. It's like they're always gonna have a chance to win the game. So I feel like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I saw this question, I more think of I think the Seahawks have they're always going to be a tough team to beat. Since Russell Wilson's come in, I don't think he's had a losing season yet.
No.
Or if not, it's by one game. That's the way I see Kansas City. If Andy Reid stays in, no matter what, Kansas City is going to be a playoff team, and they're other than the Patriots, depending on what their future is going to be, they're going to be the hardest team to get past in the AFC. But at the same point, other than Tennessee this year, they didn't face any tough opponents. Tennessee gave them the biggest deficit of aside from the Texans, and the Texans they have a big problem named Bill O'Brien, but that's beside the point.
They have a lot of problems.
Yeah, but we'll go to the flip side of the 49ers. I mean, debatably, I think outside of offensively, they were the more talented team. They had more people that I was like, all right, they really need the game plan for and take care of. So do we think they make it back next year, just anytime soon, within the next couple of years?
Yeah.
All I got to say is look what happened to the Falcons after they lost the Super Bowl. Garbage ever since. They have not been the same at all. They got to get rid of Shanahan. He's no good. No good. He can win in the regular season, but playoffs he just chokes too much.
No, I think we'll see them back. I think that we will.
Oh, that was quick.
I'm pretty much.
There's not much more to say besides, they're going to come back. I think so, anyways.
Fair enough.
I mean, I have really not much to say about that besides what he just said.
I disagree. I think that division is fantastic. I think that is a great division in football. I think that might be the best division in football there. I mean, they got to compete year after year now with the Rams. You have to compete. They're still going to be good. The Rams had a bad offseason, but look, everyone's like, the Rams are going to come back because they looked fantastic that year. They lost in the Super Bowl. I mean, they're the best defensive player of the year. They just got Jalen Ramsey. You have Jared Goff, Todd Gurley. You have a great receiving core. So, I mean, they look pretty good. And then when you tell me that I'm taking you have Sean McVay and Jared Goff with that defense. I'm taking Sean McVay and Jared Goff over Jimmy G and Shanahan. I'm taking Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll over Jimmy G and Shanahan, and they're in the same division. And now Kyler Murray's playing like this with one of the worst rosters in the NFL and a great young coach who's been coming to show the come up. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Kyler Murray. And I don't know. That's a tough division. I think all those teams are going to it's just too tough of a division for me to be confident that San Francisco's going to be back, especially that too, and like only 4 teams that made the playoffs this year were in the playoffs last year, especially in the NFC. I mean, look at the Green Bay Packers didn't make the playoffs, San Francisco didn't make the playoffs, the Vikings didn't make the playoffs.
No, but Vikings have Kirk Cousins.
So it's like, I mean, you look at it like year after year, you see these quarterbacks, you see these schemes, you see these offensive, like Matt Nagy and the Chicago Bears with a great defense.
Yeah.
They had a great defense that year, and then you had pretty good offensive schemes. They made a pretty deep run, and then next year, what, they do jack squat. So I think that might happen with Shanahan and the motion running back.
Yeah. It's also tougher because the NFC as a whole over, I'd say, the last 5 years has just been deeply competitive. Like the AFC.
Far more competitive than the AFC.
AFC, you go, oh yeah, it's probably going to be Kansas City or it's probably going to be the Patriots. Like, and that's, or the
now you have
Steelers
Baltimore.
before. Yeah, and Baltimore. So
Baltimore's-
now it's almost an even competition of like, they're like, all right, who do you think it's better?
Bleacher Report actually came out with something. Baltimore apparently has the easiest schedule next season, or predictably the easiest schedule next season.
Yeah, and as long as Lamar Jackson can get past these 2 one-and-done situations that he's been in the playoffs, he just needs, I don't think he even needs to get to the Super Bowl, but if he has another one-and-done, now people are going to question if he's just as Alex Smith used to be. Regular season was phenomenal. The second he's put in immediate pressure of, all right, if you lose this, you're done. He folds.
Yep.
So, but moving that, we'll go to, since, we're a Pittsburgh school, but obviously we have a whole lot of people from Philadelphia, a lot of Eagles fans in here. So we're going to look a little more narrow. If we're looking at the 2 big teams in PA, well, the only teams in PA, but Pittsburgh Steelers and Eagles, who has the better chance at winning it next?
Honestly, I think the Steelers, and not because I am a Steelers fan, but because the Steelers' defense was phenomenal this year on the other half of the season. With honestly, T.J. Watt, he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. He was snubbed by Stephon Gilmore. Minka Fitzpatrick going to the Pro Bowl, Joe Hayden, who's had a come-up year, even though he's kind of on the wrong side of 30, but still able to put up pretty good numbers. And Steven Nelson, you have Bud Dupree balled out, who 11.5 sacks in the year. Then you have Vince Williams, who's been helping out a lot. I think that if the Steelers are able to get a good quarterback, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger or someone,
I don't know.
I know that's the thing.
I want to say yes, but I don't know.
I know because his elbow is destroyed. So we'll see how he comes back. Because he says he's going to be ready by May. I really don't think so. The way his recovery is coming up, I don't think he's going to be ready. So hopefully, if they can't progress Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges into be a starter, which we all saw how that happened.
Duck is done.
They're both done. They're
both done. Rudolph getting knocked out and twice. Duck Hodges kind of folding at the end of the season, but like I said, they have Benny Snell, James Conner, who's been really injury prone the last couple of games. If he's able to stay healthy with Benny Snell, I think they can be like that running backfield. But I think it's the Steelers, and also the Eagles didn't even make it to the playoffs. Neither did the Steelers, but
they did. The Eagles made the playoffs.
They made the wild card.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, but they
by the skin of their teeth, and plus that division kind of sucks.
Oh,
honestly,
It's the worst.
I mean, we could be fair. There was a lot of injuries in that division.
Yeah.
Minus the Redskins. They're just
But what
the
happened to
entire
the Cowboys?
organization is an injury. But
The Cowboys choked.
Jason Garrett. Those are the 2 words you need to know about the Cowboys.
Don't talk about Jason Garrett.
There's a little bit more to that, but you were correct. So.
At least they got a real head coach now.
I know, Mike McCarthy. Yeah.
Ian, what do you think?
Well, I don't like the Eagles, but if I have to say something, Carson Wentz, I'm just worried about his how healthy he can stay. He's too injury prone. His back's very, very bad for a man of his age. But
Although he did play this entire season.
He did,
But then he got his head crushed.
Yeah, he's too injury prone. But I don't have a lot to say about Pittsburgh. I don't really follow a lot of Pittsburgh sports. I'm sorry about that.
I'll give you a hint, Ian. It's Pittsburgh. I'll give you a hint.
I would say Pittsburgh. Ben, 2004 draft class with his QBs, very, very good. Somewhat successful. But I think it's Ben's time to go. I think, when is his contract in? Another year or two?
Yeah.
After this year, I believe.
Yeah, they should probably get a good quarterback within the next 2 years. Train
hope.
heavily under Ben Roethlisberger, and then after his contract's done, send him out. Good season. Don't make him like to go out with an injury and just that.
Yeah.
We're going to me now?
I mean, if you have something to say.
I would like to say the Steelers, but I think the big thing is if they can keep their defense. Their defense is incredibly young, but what's going to happen whenever they all want that money? What happens when Watt wants to get paid? What happens when Minka Fitzpatrick wants to get paid? A lot of people are thinking that Tuitt's not going to come back next year because of that cap space that we're going to have to worry about. And I hate everybody who thinks that our season next year is going to ride or die with Ben Roethlisberger, because if we're riding and dying on that man's surgically repaired elbow, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be quite a ride. Ben's not a spring chicken anymore. I think that he's right up there with Phillip Rivers in the sense that it's done. It's done. Accept it. It was a good ride, but it's over now. I think it's over now.
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't say. I think, well, just looking at it at a glance, I think the Eagles have the better chance on the fact of they have a quarterback who, I mean, yes, has been injury prone in the past, but I think has proven himself he's won MVP, he's done this and that.
Yeah.
So I think he can get it done. But on the same point, everyone that was injured this year, they now have a better chance. They've rested up this, that, the other. And then some of them, who haven't played in the playoffs before, even though it was a one and done situation, they got that experience. But I think what the Steelers need to do is they can't go, as you were saying, I think if it rests on Big Ben, and I think Big Ben should have just called it quits after this, they need to go after a free agent quarterback, which is actually going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. There's a lot of people. We got Brady, we have Rivers, Eli Manning retired, so he can't be in that. Yeah. Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton, yikes, Teddy Bridgewater, and Bortles. And so before anyone starts, I think if the Steelers are going to be competitive, they need to go after Teddy Bridgewater. That is their best chance to get to the big game next year.
I agree.
Yeah.
But what's everyone else think?
I got to go back to the Steeler one. I didn't really touch on anything.
Oh, go for it.
But the Steelers at the beginning of the season, they lost to the Ravens by 3 in overtime. They lost by 4 to the Seattle Seahawks, and then they lost by 2 to the San Francisco 49ers. So those are the top 3 teams. I think going into the playoffs, those are like the 3 teams. Everyone's like, oh, these teams could have a heavy chance to win the Super Bowl. They lost by that little margin with a second string quarterback and a third string quarterback. You mean to tell me Ben Roethlisberger coming back is not a 4-point difference maker? He's a 4-point difference maker through and through. And if you get those 4 points, I mean, you don't think Ben Roethlisberger is better than Duck Rodgers or Mason?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think that
5,000 yards.
I'm looking at durability at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that I'm just saying that if we ride or die on him, I'm not saying that he's obviously a way better quarterback than Rudolph. It shows in his rings, it shows in his stats, it shows in all of his accolades. But I'm just saying that I don't think it would be a good idea for us to bank our whole season on the fact like, oh, Ben's going to come back, this whole season's going to get flipped around.
It's an entire change in the guard. We have new quarterbacks coming in who are just proving themselves to be so good and so talented. And he got drafted. How many? 2004. He's getting of age.
It's been a hot minute.
There's only Drew Brees and Tom Brady are the only quarterbacks
above
40. Above 40 drafted before him. And their time's coming up. They have to consider getting a new quarterback. It's his time to go.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that I don't think we don't have a first round. They don't have a first round pick, which is at that point. There's not even a point to draft a quarterback because there's going to be somebody look at Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton will be a sufficient starting quarterback in the NFL, especially if he gets. It's better than anybody that you could just draft in this 3rd round. I mean, look at Mason Rudolph drafted in the 3rd round. I bet you Andy Dalton's better than a quarterback than Mason Rudolph. However, we need a tight end. I think we need to draft a tight end for them. You still need to keep those pieces on defense because you do have to pay them because that's who's going to get paid when Ben's gone. You're not going to just take a quarterback, pay him all these millions of dollars. The money's into the defense. Defense is playing well. I think you get 2 playmakers on offense, and Ben 1 season with young quarterbacks, sign them, play behind them, like you said, and it's going to be golden.
Jake, I have some.
Yes.
Everybody's saying get a quarterback. What if the Steelers went out and got Taysom Hill?
I'm just saying. Trade who's not really that good.
That's who their franchise quarterback will be when Breeze is gone because they're getting rid of Bridgewater.
I was going to say I thought they were going to keep Hill and get rid of Bridgewater.
Yeah, the Saints are going to keep Hill. Yeah, and get rid of Bridgewater.
Okay. I thought that was
That's from Jay Glazer.
I mean, but I'll tell you what, Ryan Tannehill, I think should stay in Tennessee.
I think he's the real deal.
He's good. I think getting out of Miami was a good thing for him. Marcus Mariota will at best get a backup job somewhere. And honestly, he should also stay with them. They should keep both of those guys. They already know Mike Vrabel's system. He debatably should have been Coach of the Year behind John Harbaugh, but I understand you number 1 seed, best record, it makes sense. But at the same point, to be able to coach your way, as a 6th seed to the AFC Championship game, I think is more important than that. But obviously, they still brought in Mariota at times, and he still was fine. He just is not a starting guy. And both those guys stay in Tennessee. All those people have that experience. Plus, you have Derrick Henry, who needs to get paid. Derrick Henry is definitely going to get paid this offseason.
But does he deserve Ezekiel Elliott money?
Yes,
Does he?
I would take Derrick Henry over Ezekiel.
I wouldn't make him number one paid,
does.
but I would definitely pay him a fair amount. I wouldn't pay him up there, but I would definitely pay him a lot.
I wouldn't
Derrick
pay him
Henry.
It's
I would take him
a
over
passing
Elliott.
league now. I wouldn't pay him too much.
Running backs are expendable, I think.
Yeah.
Damian Williams just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won the Super Bowl before that? What, LeGarrette Blount and Sony Michel? So you don't need a good running back to win a Super Bowl.
Well, I was going to say, look back at whenever the Steelers played the Seahawks. What was that Super Bowl?
40.
Who was the running back?
For the Steelers?
Willie
Parker.
Jerome Bettis.
Oh, I was going to say Jerome Bettis. That was the guy that I was thinking of.
That was Willie Parker. Had the longest run in NFL in Super Bowl history that game. Yeah, Willie Parker did.
That's why, I guess it kind of depends on what kind of team you have, because Roethlisberger wasn't exactly a superstar talent at that point.
No, it was only his second season.
Yeah, so that's
He
why.
won 14. Well, he won the most consecutive games his rookie year in NFL history.
Yeah,
That's
just
the
now
actual
tied
check.
with Dak Prescott, 13 straight.
So that's why I guess it kind of depends on what kind of team you have. Like, look at the Patriots. A lot of people point out the fact that they've really moved away from making Tom Brady throw all the time.
But Jerome Bettis, was he the starting running back for them?
No,
I guess
it was
no,
Willie
it was
Parker.
Parker.
Willie Parker was, but they still gave the ball to Jerome Bettis a
Yeah,
couple
Jerome
times.
did have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when he fumbled on the goal line?
Yeah.
That was cold. Pretty sure he killed a man. I'm pretty sure a man had a heart attack when that happened.
Definitely. I know Bill Cowher definitely did.
Bill Cowher.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. Bill Cowher.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about Jameis Winston? So went 30 touchdowns for 30 interceptions, and to keep up with the number 30, thinks he deserves $30 million a year.
That's funny.
Which,
30 million.
yeah.
I think he's going to stay with Tampa Bay.
I think if he stays, because he's with easily the best quarterbacks coach in the league, Bruce Arians.
Who built Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, who literally he built Ben Roethlisberger. He rebuilt Carson Palmer's career with the Cardinals. Another season with him, I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-star guy, but he could potentially, because Tampa Bay, ironically, even though I don't think they're quite there yet, they didn't do bad this season. They went 8-8, which is like 6 games more than I thought they were capable
Yeah,
of.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And you could easily get 3 more wins, 3 to 4 more wins if you don't turn the ball over that much as Jameis Winston did. And I think that's an easy thing to fix with Winston. That really is. I mean, he's a great talent. I mean, the fact that 2 of your top receivers before Godwin got hurt are leading the NFL in receiving yards, like the 2 of them, like that is, you are just throwing you are heaving the ball pretty well for you to be able to do that. And I mean, the fact that his just stupid decision making, I mean, I feel like that's an easy thing to fix. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a quarterback coach in the NFL or an NFL quarterback, but I think Jameis Winston, you cut that number in half, you can still throw 15 interceptions, which is too much in general. But if you can just do that, like you're winning 3 more games easily.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. You take that $30 million and you pay a couple of decent linemen to protect him. Maybe he's not throwing as many interceptions. And another season with Bruce Arians, he'll be set. I think that'll do it for this episode of The Big Hit. Thank you for joining us. Once again, this has been Joey Chrisman, Jake Taylor, Ian Decker, Tristan Borland, and I've been your host, Jake Spagnol. Come back next week. We'll be doing a whole lot more. And this season, it's going to be big. Stay tuned.
From the studio that has given you the same picture of Dr. Kleiman every single year. Just when you thought we'd be canceled by our station overlords, your favorite group of college degenerates have crawled back from the fringes of society for a second season. NANI? For 1 semester now, Animation Nation has been dedicated to bringing you everything that is great in animation. With in-depth character analysis, heated arguments, top 10s, and series reviews. So if you have no self-respect, or like animation, and want to help in our mission to bring culture back to our society, why don't you join our show and be with viewers just like you?
Hello viewers, look at your favorite show, now back to me. Now back to your favorite show, now back to me. Sadly, we don't have that kind of budget, but if you stick to watching Schizophrenia, you can laugh at us trying. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're in the studio. The show that could be like your favorite show if we get enough viewers to have a budget. What's in your hand? Back to me. I have it. It's your TV remote. Preset to when Sketchfrenia comes on. Look again. The remote is now a budget. Anything is possible when you watch quality humor like Sketchfrenia's.
My name is Patricia. Wait, how did I...